I am not a financial advisor, and I never give financial advice on this channel. 100% of this content is for entertainment purposes only. Hello everybody, hope you're all doing well. It's Lane here with MetaShackle. I just wanted to do a quick update on the XRP and the Bitcoin charts, as well as quickly show you something in the ZBCN charts that I think could be very crucial moving forward. So let's not waste any more time and let's get into this. So taking a look at the current XRP price action, we're now looking at the 1 hour chart. As you know, we had this bearish breaker block form right here, which has actually failed and has been acting as support. You can also see that this bearish fair value gap, known as a SIBI, just below it forming right here, has been acting as a form of liquidity. There was a draw here, one here that filled the entire FVG, another one here, and we just had one here. And you can see by that candle's reaction that there's definitely some liquidity resting down here in which the price action is drawing upon. And since the candles have not formed the body more than 50% of the way through this breaker block fair value gap, it's actually holding up very well as a means of support, which could potentially be indicating that we're about to see a move to the upside here at some point. And underneath that, this is also acting as support, which could be a good sign if you're bullish on XRP, especially at the current moment. Taking a look at the XRP Heat Map, this is the 12-hour. You can see that we've cleared out quite a bit of this liquidity right here on this last thrust right down here. But also pay attention to the fact that there is a massive amount of liquidity resting right up here at about that 265, 266 level. And it would not surprise me one bit if we saw the price move up, taking out this previous high right here, sweeping this previous high right here, and clearing out the more concentrated bands of liquidity here. That doesn't necessarily mean that price has to drop afterwards, but a lot of times after hitting these peaks of liquidity like here, price will pull back a little bit. But you'll also see times where price will come up, sweep it, pull back, then continue the move upwards. So I would definitely keep your eyes on this level, especially if we start to gain some more ground in XRP price action. This is going to be so interesting to watch. Now taking a look at the Bitcoin charts, as you know, it also formed a bearish breaker block right here, which was broken to the upside. It acted as support for a moment, but has been filled and is showing a lot of weakness, and it's very likely that this breaker block alone will not provide much support. But if you notice right here below, it's formed a bullish fair value gap known as a BISI just below on this candle right here. This is also on the hourly chart, forming a nice base of support right here. You can see these candles have drawn into liquidity a few times here. Look how the candles are reacting with this longer wick here, dipping into liquidity, making a small move, dipping into liquidity here. And as most of you probably noticed, XRP and Bitcoin diverged quite a bit from each other last night and into this morning, and I do apologize for the rain sound and the thunder in the background, as there is a heck of a storm raging outside right now, which means that I had to put off doing part of my exercise today, which includes taking a walk every day to get myself back into shape. So instead I decided to focus my effort on doing this video. So definitely keep an eye on this fair value gap right here acting as a support mechanism. This weak doji waterfall right here has been filled, and I think it's very likely it may act as what I call an echo. And that is a term that I use to describe weak doji waterfalls that actually transfer through the pattern, having already been filled, yet still correlating to price action in the near term in regards to future price movements. Now taking a look at the Bitcoin heat map, you can see it cleared out a little chunk of the liquidity down here on the sell side. Buy-side liquidity is starting to stack up here rather thinly in this particular area, but once you get up into this area right here around that 104,800 level, there is quite a bit of liquidity up in this area. And this area in particular being the most concentrated on the entire chart. This is also the 12-hour chart. And it also would not surprise me if we see a move up to clear out this liquidity, taking out this high right here, perhaps even higher up into this darker zone right here. And there's always a chance it could clear out this entire liquidity pool altogether, because as you know, I do believe we're going to see a new all-time high in Bitcoin very soon, even though I also believe that there's going to be an incredible draw on liquidity at some point in XRP. That's why it's so important to keep your eyes on these divergences that we're seeing, with XRP tending to lead out on Bitcoin. is we might see a scenario where Bitcoin goes up, sets a new all-time high, and perhaps we'll see an opposite effect to where it really puts the kibosh on XRP for a moment. But as the price of Bitcoin comes back down, we may continue to see that divergence to where XRP starts to gain some serious momentum. So we're kind of getting this yo-yo effect. Every time you throw the yo-yo down, it's going to come right back up. You throw it down, it comes right back up. So we're kind of seeing something similar to that, and it is incredibly interesting to watch. And then not to mention that we've got ETH, which has made an incredible breakout recently, which is also getting in the mix. And just to take a look at the ETH liquidity heat map really quickly, even though we're trading around this level, notice where the buy-side liquidity is stacking up here, up to just above that 2,700 level. There is a lot of buy-side liquidity right here. And with that incredible move that we've seen lately, there's probably a pretty good chance we're going to see it come in here and take out these most concentrated levels. So I would recommend also keeping your eye on Ethereum, because if you know how the standard altcoin season tends to work, Bitcoin generally runs. Once it hits high levels, money comes out of Bitcoin, moves into Ethereum. Ethereum goes on a heck of a run. Then once it's made its move, money comes out of Ethereum and moves into altcoins. But right now we're seeing this situation where Bitcoin made an incredible move, Ethereum made an incredible move, XRP has been making an incredible move. We're seeing divergence between XRP and Bitcoin. So we're being presented with a lot of information that we wouldn't normally see in the standard altcoin run. And I'm finding it very interesting. So I also want to take a look at the ZBCN chart because there's something incredible happening on this chart that everybody needs to be aware of. A longtime subscriber of the channel and a well-respected member of our community, who I love and appreciate, by the way, asked me to take a look at this earlier. There was a little bit of a miscommunication, and after looking at the chart, I decided that I would throw it in the mix here really quick just so everybody could check this out. We saw this incredible breakout right here just recently in February, bringing the price down here from the -5 line, which came all the way up, tapped off the bottom area of the equilibrium zone, then absolutely collapsed, coming back and not only retesting the breakout point, which is very common with weak doji reverse waterfalls in my grafting trading strategy that I always talk about, but it also swept these lows, clearing out all of the liquidity down here with the exception of this one candle right here. So it nearly matched that same level. But at the same time, looking at the chart, there's likely very little liquidity actually remaining down at these levels, with the exception of the institutions, the hedge funds, etc. But we are forming a very nice cup and handle pattern as a result, coming back up, testing that same level, bouncing off of the bottom of the equilibrium zone, once again, nearly perfect off of that bottom line. Can you see the precision that occurs within my equilibrium zones, as well as my fib levels, and the advantage that it gives you when looking at charts, especially when day trading and swing trading? So this has allowed us to not only see this cup form, but we've now formed the rim line, and price is now falling back down, forming a handle. If this builds a base of support and breaks out of this handle right here, we could see an incredible move. So I would watch this trend line right here. Watch for the base of support. Watch this trend line. Watch for price breaking through it. Also watch for price breaking this upper wedge trend line. Watch the rim line, because if we're going to get the momentum that we need to break out of this and through the equilibrium zone, it's going to take an incredible pattern to do it. And I do believe that that pattern that we need is on the charts as we speak. Now, I did put a post in the comments where I'm allowing the viewers to suggest a crypto they'd like to see, and then we're going to have a couple votes to determine which ones make it into the video, just to kind of have a little bit of fun, and it also gives you a way to engage with the channel more. And I know that ZBCN has actually been recommended, so if this is one that you suggested and you would like to change it, you can go back into the comments and then just say changed, and then put your new choice, because I will be tallying those up here soon, and then putting them in the comments. I'll break up the top 8 most popular suggestions, putting them into 2 different categories, of which we will vote on each one, and the winner of each category, leaving 2 remaining, and I will do a video on each of those cryptos. So keep your eyes on this cup and handle. This is going to be awesome. There's a really good chance that we could see this break out of this cup and handle pattern and punch through this equilibrium zone. And if we can get a full body candle up here, outside and above of this equilibrium zone, you better hold on, because it's very likely that we will come up here and test this high right here at some point. and having the rim line right here on the charts, if price does break up and get rejected off the equilibrium line, coming down and retesting the rim line, then punching through this, the equilibrium zone will then begin to act as an area of support. We also have a weak doji waterfall right here at the 0.002738 level. Watch for that to be filled as it gains momentum, especially when it gets above the equilibrium zone, assuming that that's the case. So good luck to everybody that's holding this. I think you have a bright future ahead of you, and you're going to make a lot of money on this if it plays out correctly. So thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you. Please hit the like button. It helps the channel immensely. It doesn't cost you anything, and I'd really appreciate it. So thank you so much. Have a great day.
Control